You're watching the Bridetender podcast. Mix yourself a cocktail and let's get ready to discuss all things weddings.
Hello and welcome to the Bridetender podcast. I'm your host, Estee Gordon, and I'm here to tend to the brides like I tend to the bar. So mix yourself a cocktail and let's get ready to discuss all things weddings. Today, I'm so excited. I'm here in New York City with the team at Island East Side. We have Christina, Gabrielle, Sienna, and Hannah. And we're talking about, honestly, one of my favorite topics of all time, merch. Because, like, who doesn't love a little something, you know, like with their name on it, right?
For
right.
sure.
So, first of all, ladies, thank you for hosting me here today.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
Once I saw your office a few months ago, I was like, we need to do this, you know, in person. This place is so cute. And you guys are my first in-person interview. So
Woo! It feels good, right?
It does feel good. Honestly, it feels so normal, like, which I really feel like we need in this world.
We can all use a little bit of that.
Exactly. And if you guys follow Islands East Side on Instagram, you see, like, they're always having so much fun at this office, and I'm like, I need to come there. I need some fun too. So, ladies, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for coming. We do know how to have a good time. I will give us that.
That you guys do. Every time I see your photo shoots, I mean, I told you guys before, I'm like, I just, like, want to be there. Like, I want to, like, I want to be glammed up in these photo shoots, too. I was like, let me pull out my extensions for this video, my gold jacket. I'm like, they're going to be so glam. Me, too. I'm like, let's get it together this morning.
The funniest part of that is, one, you say that until you actually get there because these photo shoots are chaotic.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
and
God.
Two, this is by far the most dressed up that we've ever come to work, period.
I'm in a button.
So, I mean, yeah, it's usually sweatshirts and leggings, but
I hear that. Well, I've had almost a year of sweatshirts and leggings, so now I'm like, I needed to put on a jacket today. It really is. I was like, okay, we need to know that the jeans still fit because, oh, what a year we've had with this quarantine.
you're not kidding.
So, first of all, I want to ask all you guys, how are you doing during this pandemic, throughout this year? How are all of you personally?
It's been a go. I mean, for me personally, I left my job, as you know, in September of 2019. So I've had like 5 minutes of normalcy, you know, owning a business before the pandemic hit. And then personally, I got engaged also the same month that I left my job to be full-time Island to East Side. So I had like a lot of life things happening before the pandemic came to fruition. So it's been a challenge, but we're hanging in there, right, girls?
Yeah.
Yep,
I was gonna say, I feel like Christina and I, while everyone was having like life-changing events because no one was working, like we were really lucky that we're sisters and like our work life kind of just continued. And then soon after, Hannah and Sienna joined us, so.
And I mean, honestly, it's looked like the business has grown so much in such a short amount of time, taking on, you know, 2 more employees and just like the brand itself, like, looks like it's really grown. So, I mean, you know,
yeah, it's
kudos in
Thank you.
in the craziest of times though, and I'm sure you see this as a business owner, me as well. It's like in the hardest times is typically when business owners tend to thrive because they're like you have no choice but to stand up and be like, and it's scary because there's a lot of tears that are shed that people don't see behind the scenes.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is something as a team we've all talked about. We talk about this with our team health coach. But, you know, everybody gets to see the dancing in the office, the fun, the meditating, the photo shoots, the glam. But, I mean, Gab can attest to there's been a few tears behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
it happens.
I totally understand. I'm with you. Just being even on the wedding end of things, seeing the world really shut down for that. So many people get moved to the following year, and you as well. You're also, a corona bride, having to have, postponed your date. It's a lot of stress in a short amount of time. I say short, but a year is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned me being a corona bride. I think that before this pandemic hit, I was really trying to challenge myself in ways that I could more so connect with our Island Teesside customer. And in a weird way, not that this is, not to say that this pandemic hasn't been horrific. Of course it has, and it's devastating to many people. But for me, in a weird way, I found looking at it in a way of it's kind of given me something to connect with our customers on, because we do have such a big bridal customer. So having been a bride during this time and having go through what so many of our customers are going through, postponing their weddings, it's kind of given me something to relate to them on. So
absolutely. I know, just we have so much that we can relate on, just being business owners, the scariness of it, and also just, I'm not a bride, not yet, but being on the side of weddings, it's just so, it was a devastating year for that, and you can't tell anybody how to grieve, throughout the process, but, the good thing is that I feel like you've been so positive throughout this time.
I think so too. I mean, what other choice do you have? It's either
more
tears every day or just gotta get on with it. But I think we all feel like, for sure, the bridal business is going to slowly start to turn around. Gab here, who's on customer service, we were just saying the other day that we're slowly starting to see our bridal clients put dates back inside their bag. Yeah. So we're like, okay, that's a good sign. Yeah. Because for a while that wasn't a thing because everyone was moving around their wedding. So that's a positive.
It's so true. Because I know when we met a few months back, you had said that you had people who put dates on bags and then they were looking to get them changed, and I could see where that could be very frustrating on a bag as intricate as the ones that you guys do.
Sure, but I think, like I said, even having gone through it myself, I know I could speak volumes to how I would have liked to have been treated as a bride during this time. So I think anything that we could do or have done to accommodate those brides and those customers, we're game for doing whatever it takes.
So now, you're a young female entrepreneur. We love that here on this podcast, a whole group of women. And how did Island to Eastside start? What can you tell us about the business?
So Island to Eastside started in 2017 when I moved from Staten Island, where Gab and I are originally from, to the east side of Manhattan. So the name didn't come from nowhere. But I had always kind of had this entrepreneurial fire or spirit. I went to school for fashion merchandising. Gab can attest to, I think, throughout all of college, even and post-college, I kind of always had a side hustle in one way or another, in addition to working corporately in fashion. And when I moved to the city, all of the time that I had spent commuting 4 hours plus at sometimes per day, I just decided to dedicate to a business. So we launched in November of 2017 officially, and then I left my job full-time in September of 2019. So it was almost 2 full years I was doing this on the side. Gab had started working with us, I believe, in September of 2018 while she was working full-time also. So it's kind of been it was a long journey, I guess, until, this as you guys see it today came to be.
When you decided to leave, and I'm sure that it it was a hard decision. I know, because I also have that struggle. How did you know it was the right time?
I didn't. I feel like
I think I'm asking that for myself, because I also like never know, and it's so scary. It's scary to take that leap.
It's scary, and I actually feel like I've relived that level of uncertainty each time we make like a big move, or each time we hire someone else. I remember even when I hired Gabrielle, who's my sister, I was like, is this the right thing to do? I'm so nervous. Like, what if I can't support an employee? You know, so you go from like asking these questions about yourself, like, can I financially support myself? Is this sustainable? When's the right time? And then you grow a little and you need to bring on someone else. And then the same thing happened with Hannah and then with Sienna again. So I feel like that feeling of discomfort and uncertainty honestly never goes away when you are self-employed. But I like to relate it to, I mean, I believe just like anything else, there's like no right time to start a family or get married. Like, you kind of just have to go for it. And I feel like if you have that desire or that itch inside, you really just have to like believe in yourself and take the risk.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think had this pandemic not happened, a lot of people wouldn't have gone for things, but they realized that life is short. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee in anything, no matter what business you're in. Everything had its struggles this year. So it was kind of like, this year was the year to take the plunge, because you're like, I got nothing to lose. Like, everybody else is in the same boat.
I know. I feel like everyone's starting a business these days, but you're right. It's like, you know, sometimes you just need that push to get out of that like realm of what I think is a false sense of security anyway. So
right. Well, as people who've had corporate jobs, it doesn't matter how long you're in this corporate job for, you still never truly ever feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I know for me, I never felt safe, and it's like, you'll never have enough money either.
Right.
Like, you know, my mom always says that to me. She goes, you know, you're never going to have enough money. It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be this. Just do it.
Yep.
So.
And I think it's a generational thing too. I mean, I remember when I told our parents that, you know, I was going to leave my corporate job, they were like, what, you're the 401k, the benefits, the this, and like, I don't know, I do think because of this pandemic, like, our generation and their generation will have like a little bit of a different mentality.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's always worth taking the risk. I always say that. It's always worth taking the risk, because you know what? There's so much more reward at the other side of like, you know, at the other side of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Right, ladies?
You could say that.
So now, you guys do so many different kinds of like merch and stuff like that. And of course, you know, it's a wedding podcast, so of course we're going to talk on the wedding stuff. But you guys also have been very involved with branding and helping almost like companies brand themselves with, you know, signature items to themselves. What can you tell us about like some of the stuff that we see on your wall over here?
I think you touched upon, you know, the fact that yes, we do have a significant bridal business, but whenever anyone asks me like what our core customer is, I feel like the customer is ageless. And I think everybody likes something that's really custom, and I don't even see Island to Eastside as a handbag brand. I see us as a custom brand and a lifestyle brand. So I think that the more and more we evolve our product offering into other things beyond the handbags, you know, we're constantly thinking of like, what would anyone want as a gift? Not just a bride, not just a business owner with something with their logo on it. So yeah, I think it's something, we have a little something for everyone.
what is the timeline like, and what is the process that someone should go through in order to order something custom?
Actually, I feel like since Gabrielle's here, she can take that question because she handles all of our customer service. So go for it.
Yeah. So on our website, our policy says 30 business days for custom orders. We mainly do that so that we have enough time on our end, and then of course, God forbid the customer was unhappy with something, we would have enough time to adjust it, because obviously we want our customer to be the most happy with their product. But for a regular order, generally we try to ship them out between like 3 weeks to the month mark. So they usually will get the product before 30 business days.
And you guys have such like a friendly website that this is all pretty seamless on there.
I like to think so.
I think I ordered from it, so I think so. But
I will say, I think although the website is seamless, I think it's very understandable that customers get very overwhelmed
with the options. It's a blessing and a curse, I was going to say, that we have so many options because you could pick anything you want, but people get so confused so easily. So I literally help endless customers a day, just being like, even especially with brides, they'll be like, this is what my wedding dress looks like, this is my invitations. I'm like, this is what you want. And then they're like, okay, perfect. I was so confused. Gab makes a lot of friends with all of our customers.
Yes.
Sometimes she'll be like, I've been talking to this one customer for like 3 hours now. The other day, she spoke to someone literally for the whole day, like on and off. So
I mean, you know what? People love their merch. You know?
It's true.
And then it's exciting, you know? You get that package in the mail. That's with any package that you get. So when you get something that's customized to you with your name on it, it just feels so good.
Yeah, and I think, like, although it is very time consuming, obviously, on her end, I think having that, like, really intimate experience with a brand that you can actually speak to someone live, that you know her face, you know who she is, or any one of us for that matter, to like kind of get advice, and like it's almost like shopping with a friend. So I think that is unique to us for sure.
You touch on a good topic too, because on your business's Instagram, we get to see all of you guys. So it feels like I like know all of you. You know, it's like I'm like, oh no, like I know these people. Like how have you like built this brand on Instagram, and you know how to do the reels, and you know how to do everything, and the photo shoots look amazing, and it's like I feel like you guys like have it all together. Like I know even like when it's like yourself, like you always feel like you don't, but like I'm just letting you guys know you have it all together.
Thank
like
you.
It really looks good.
Thank you. I'm like looking over here because I can't take all of the credit. I am definitely very slow technologically. And like even with social media and Instagram, they're all laughing because it's a challenge, but really, to be honest, like since Hannah has come on board in July, officially full time, I feel like the creative of the entire brand has turned up seriously, and I feel like it took us like a couple months to get really rolling, but I feel like in the fall and truly in like January of this year, you really saw like the level up that we did. So I can't take full credit for it.
That's honestly though, like that's like why we need some of these like younger girls, because for whatever reason it's like I never like thought I was like the older girl, you know?
I mean,
like,
I'm not. I'm the young girl too.
Right.
But then I'm just like, everybody knows how to, like, I'm like, I need somebody to, like, teach me how to do reels, like, where it's not going to take me several days to figure out one. And that's what I'm seeing, like, that
That's
it
what
will
we
take
got
me
these
several
ladies
days.
for.
I'm laughing because like 2 weeks ago she came in and she was like, all right guys, like I really want to start reels, and we're like, yeah, like this is so exciting, let's do it. And she was like, all right, I was thinking we could like do this, we'll zoom in here, and like the three of us looked at each other and laughed, and we were like, okay, yeah, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, like,
Literally. She took my own phone out of my hands and she was like, no, I got this. It's a group effort.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to find me a group.
Mm-hmm.
And I need them to like start putting in some effort because I need to figure that out too.
It's overwhelming. It's a lot to keep up with. And I feel like as a brand, if you're not, or a business, if you're not constantly, at the forefront of all of these new resources and channels and outlets, you could fall behind. So it is overwhelming, and I will say it. So thank you very much for saying you think we're on top of it, because it's a lot.
It is a lot. The social media itself ends up becoming like a full-time job in and of itself,
sure.
just that. So I totally understand. It is not easy. It's not just a quick Facebook post that it once was like 10 years ago. Now it's like you got Instagram, you got TikTok. Now you have Clubhouse where you got to like go on and like talk about things. I haven't figured that out yet either.
That's the next.
I know. Yeah. It's kind of scaring me. People are pinging me all day to like talk and I'm like, am I even on this? Like I'm like, I'm not like getting up and talking. What am I even talking about?
I don't even know what you're talking about yet. And I'm
We'll get there.
Actually,
honestly, me either.
I'm good not knowing. So
We got Hannah over
Yeah.
there.
Hannah's like, we already have the username secured, and like,
It's on
she's
next
like
week's
done it
video.
already. Yeah.
Hey, that's perfect. Let's talk about photo shoots. You guys always have these awesome photo shoots, different colors, like coming out that you kind of do, what would you say, like monthly, like seasonally?
It depends on the season. Sometimes it's twice a month. Sometimes it's just once a month. But we've gotten pretty seasoned at them. So sometimes, like the first 2 photo shoots that we've already had in 2021, we shot like over a month's worth of content in one day. So
Wow. Yeah.
it's pretty good because we like put out a lot of content. So I think it's pretty good that we.
So good. When I saw that hot pink photo shoot, I was like, I'm dead. I was like, this is literal perfection.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one. I feel like it just generates a lot of excitement, and you would like be customizing bags in ways that you like would never really think of for yourself, which is like hopefully the goal of why we have these like crazy photo shoots in the first place. But they are fun, and we are getting much better at them. So.
Yes, and they're
They
fun.
look
They're
so
fun
great.
to like conceptualize too. I feel like she knows exactly what I'm gonna say. Hannah and I will like get in like this creative mode about something, and like I'll say one thing, then she'll say something, and like we like feed off of each other. And Gabrielle with like the logistical operational brain will be in the corner being like, oh my god, no, like
Devastated.
we just
Gabrielle taking the notes while this goes on.
not even she's probably sitting there quietly like they're not doing that, they're not doing that, because we get like when we get excited about something, Hannah and I we like really run with it. So
It's actually out of hand.
yeah, it's out of hand.
We need like somebody to.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pink photo shoot you touched upon is a perfect example. Like we had this idea for these pink matte bags, and like it went from being like this fun, playful like pink idea to us all dressing up as full-on Barbies with like the most extra accessories. So, but it was fun.
Listen, the pictures look great, and it really showcases the items that you have, which is the whole point of you doing the photo shoot. And I just think like it's all, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
And you guys always nailed the shots.
Oh, thank you.
You really do.
Yeah, I think our goal is to kind of just keep evolving ways to have the customer think of how and when they can use these bags. So like showing it in a breadth of lifestyle situations is the goal, so that they keep thinking of what I would need this product for.
Now, something I want to touch on with you is that we always need to align ourselves with the right people. And I feel like you, while building this brand, have also, it seems like, brought in a lot of like really great connections, people who've modeled for you, some of like your friends who are also like business women, young entrepreneurs. And now you are doing kind of like a weekly wellness check-in with your
health
coach, Masha, right?
Yep.
So I kind of wanted you to tell everybody a little bit about that, because I think everyone should tune in on Wednesdays for that, and kind of like, it's such a helpful thing, especially during this pandemic where everybody is so up in the air with how they're feeling.
Yeah. I think overall, just to touch upon like our philosophy as a team and as a brand generally, I really have the belief that you are only as strong as your team and the people around you. And it's really important for me as a manager and a leader to give these ladies the tools that I wish I had, you know, in my earlier 20s, when I was kind of like trying to figure out things with my career and even things with my personal life. I think that not enough businesses and not enough managers and not enough organizations and companies give their employees the right tools to kind of live this like balanced life that we're all chasing after, you know, work and social and play and all of those things. So yes, it's like really important to me that these ladies, not just because I love them all personally and want to see them succeed, but I think it, you know, they'll only show up as their best selves here for Island's Eastside if they're their best versions of themselves in their time outside of here. So investing in Masha and having her as our health coach is so important to me. And I think at first glance, a lot of people are like, well, why does this relate to the business? Or what, like, how does this help you as a leader? And it's just what I said. I think that, you know, in order to expect that your employees are going to show up and work their hardest, they need to be their happiest with themselves. So
yeah, well, it is true. If you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy in anything else that you do, whether it's your job, a relationship, your friendships, your family life, any kind of structure that you put yourself in. And sometimes, especially as people who are entrepreneurial, we have a hard time setting aside that time, because it's like, you don't want to waste a minute, but sometimes what you don't see is that you need to take that time and regroup in order to put forth the best energy where you need it. So I had to learn that myself during this pandemic. I never took a day off, and I have spent almost a year being off on Sundays because I just didn't happen to have weddings and whatnot throughout this time. And I was like, wow, being off on a Sunday, like, isn't so bad. I used to feel very guilty if I took a day off. And now I'm like, that's so not healthy. Like, it's so normal to lay in bed past 7 a.m. one day a week.
Totally,
it's like,
you need that. And I'll be the first one to say I'm the most guilty of it. And I feel like that has even been a challenge for me to show. Like, I always want to be on. I always want to be perfect. I always want to be working and, like, chasing after this goal. But I feel like I've gotten the opportunity to share with them, you know, that doesn't always lead you to the best results. And I think we all share that belief. So,
yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm with you on that. It took me a long time to figure it out, but you know what? It's never too late.
It's a journey.
It is definitely a journey. I'm with you on that. Now, what advice do you have for, you know, women or young entrepreneurs who are trying to start something and maybe they're scared, or, you know, maybe they're trying to, like, figure themselves out? What advice do you have for them?
I feel like the only advice that I can honestly give and stand behind is that if you have any inkling or any itch or any desire to go after something, you have to just do it, especially if you have the itch for any extended and consistent period of time. It's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a right time. You just have to do it, because ultimately, one, if you don't and never do, you're going to regret it and probably be resentful of yourself or whatever stood in your way. And two, if you just put it off, then you're just like wasting time putting it off. I was guilty of that myself. I feel like I should have left my job way before I did. like by months, maybe even a year. So just do it.
Yep, just do it. I'm with you on that. What projects, what should we look out from Island to East Side? What things do you guys have in the works that you could tell everybody?
Where should we begin?
Every
day it is something new. We're constantly thinking just overall of ways to like generate more sales and connect with the customer. So whether that's like actually how we do that, you know, through our social media, or hopefully an in-person event by the end of the year, by the end of 2021. We're kind of like just always thinking of innovative ways to connect with our customer. So for sure, a lot more of that. For sure, a lot more of the four of us and our faces. And product-wise too, we will be launching a couple new categories this year that we've never had. Also expanding upon, we have our leather sample here. We're getting into leather at the end of the year, which is really exciting.
Our shoes up here.
Our shoes.
Secret.
Maybe some jewelry.
Wink.
Yes, and then we are also launching Island Seaside merch very soon. So probably actually by the time this goes live, it'll be
shocking.
Out, so.
None of us are wearing a sample.
I know.
We're almost always in one.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You're just saving it. You're very. I got it. You guys are playing coy with me, but you know what? I'm down with it. So, all right. Last question. I know it's a tough one though. Everybody who comes on, I gotta ask, since this is a wedding podcast, what advice do you have? And I know you will really have this since you are, also a Corona bride. What advice do you have for our brides and grooms currently planning in the midst of a pandemic?
So my advice is actually not to give up on the initial vision that you have for yourself and for your wedding. Don't settle. I am a firm believer that, the timing or like the timeline you put yourself on is just that. It's what you're putting yourself on. So if you have this vision in your head that you feel like you will regret not, going after, then you just got to stick with the initial vision. And one day, I really do believe that when this world is in a better place, one day we will have weddings again like we once knew them to be. So I think that, that's my advice. Just hold on to that initial vision.
You know what? It's so funny. I agree with you. And I feel like everybody's vision is different.
Yep.
And it's so true that some people are in a rush and some people aren't.
Yep.
And if there's something, and if this is the day that you've been dreaming of your entire life, don't settle for it to not be what you want it to be.
Yep. Unless, of course, you want to settle, then. But like I said, I think it's all about the timeline that you put yourself on, not like the timeline that everyone else has for you. So
that's a very important lesson. Yeah, I also had to learn that this time too. It's hard when things don't go according to your timeline
or your plan.
Plan. But it's kind of like that line, like you plan and God laughs.
Yep.
So you just have to kind of roll with the punches, which I think everybody had to learn this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, ladies, it has been so fun to have you on. So fun to be here. Just be in this studio, be around all of these bags and these dreams and these goals, and you have me all fired up, honestly. Which, I mean, it's easy to fire me up, and now I'm like extra fired up. Like, good luck to everybody else later.
Yeah, right.
Let everybody know where they can follow you and buy merch and get in touch with you and everything else.
Yes, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Island to East Side, and stay tuned because I think this year we might have a couple more profiles going public too. So follow us on Island to East Side to stay with us for our journey.
Perfect. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Bridetender podcast, where we put out a new episode every single Monday. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now also on YouTube. You can watch, and this is the first in-person interview. So, of course, you want to catch us all for how stunning, smart, and sophisticated we all are. Duh. Make sure to go follow all these lovely ladies at Island to East Side. Get yourself some merch, duh, because who doesn't like something with their name on it? And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please go follow me at the Bridetender for all fun facts on the wedding industry, ways to save money on your special day, and of course, hiring the best vendors in the business to execute your wedding. Until next week, mix yourself a cocktail, slide into my DMs with questions you want answered on all things weddings. Stay sane, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next week. Bye!